Podcast, episode 142.
I don't know. We just had to take a little dramatic pause.
I literally just had it. 143. Deadass Podcast, episode 143. Y'all was good. Kel's in the building, Neesa in the building, Jay in the motherfucking building.
Was popping.
You see how I'm second now? I like how you guys listen to me when I talk.
Bro,
you listen when I complain.
You listen back this whole time, right? Mm-hmm. You're always second, bro. And she's always complaining that she's not second.
That is true.
Am I?
You're always
sure?
second.
I'm always
every
second.
time, this is like the third or fourth time. You're like, listen back. And every time we listen back, it's the same
Why don't we let the people in the comment section let us know if Neesa's always called second? Because they always tuning in, so they have the actual call facts.
Am I always called second or am I last? I don't know. Why am I hearing my name last if I'm called second?
That's what I'm saying. You're not hearing your name last.
Yeah, he just said my name
I'm
last.
just tripping.
Yeah.
For once.
This is like the third or fourth time, bro.
I don't want to believe that.
Just for that, I'm not even going to drop your name. Not even going to drop it.
That's crazy because they're going to hear my voice.
Today we got
gonna call my name.
Kelly in the building.
Like, where's she at?
We got Jay in the building.
Because you know what?
That's
when
crazy.
People don't see me, hear from me, they miss me.
Aw.
Just so you guys know.
When's the last time that happened?
The last time I missed on an episode, y'all hoes missed me, so let's not. Yeah.
What's going on, yo? It's the Bodega Podcast coming at you now. Fuck with you.
In the text, like, oh, we wish you were here.
It transforms into a different podcast.
It does.
Doesn't it? Because I'm a missing piece of the puzzle.
It turns into the Bodega Pod.
That's what you call it?
Yeah, that's the Bodega
Damn,
Pod.
so when I'm kicked out, you switch it up?
But the thing is, you ain't kicked out.
I mean, not kicked out yet.
You just
when
choose
I'm
not to pull
MIA.
up.
No, she gets vacation mode. She gets vacation mode. You feel me? So we get the bodega mode.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a good thing though. That means you're moving around. You feel me?
Exactly.
Right.
You on road.
Elevated.
She pon road.
Another one. Another shot. Another one. Another.
Yeah. You just reached the year on your podcast, girl. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do, man.
Thank you.
I was gonna bring some cheap champagne in. We was gonna pop that bitch.
I mean, we could go outside do it the hood way. Grab a 40.
You forgot about me.
We could still do that.
Pop a 40.
No. Four loco.
Four Loco. More our age range is the Four Loco.
Shit crazy. Sure. Do they still make Four Locos?
Yes. I actually was tempted to buy a Four Loco not too long ago just to buy one. I was like, how drunk do you think? My tolerance now from when I was drinking Four Locos is crazy different.
Yep.
So I wonder if I would still be fucked up off of Four Locos.
I don't know. Before I could finish the whole can, now...
Bro, we was on it.
Different.
We was on it when the caffeine was in that bitch. Then they redid it without the caffeine, but it was the same shit. We used to buy them shits, down them on the way to downtown Orlando.
Exactly.
Oh, well,
So by the time you were around that area anyway, but by the time we got there, boy,
stupid.
Feeling good, didn't have to pay nothing down there. 1,000%.
I bought Four Locos when I was in high school.
Yeah, that's when we all did them.
This was like this was like right after high school for us too, like 18, 19.
We brought Four Locos to school.
That's crazy.
Y'all were drinking on the job?
Drinking on education?
School.
That's why y'all niggas stupid.
Your job is to be a student, motherfucker. And you drank it.
Gym time was the time, bro.
Yo, I seen people smoke in high school. I never seen somebody pull out a fucking Four Loco.
You'd be surprised, bro. The backpacks work.
I've seen Hennessy there, but no Four Loco.
This one girl,
what the fuck?
Yo, people used to be so bad, and I'm like, I might have been one of those people, but whatever. I wasn't as bad as a lot of people, but anyways, this girl used to come to school with literally like a flask, but like that morning coffee flask type of thing. It's the silver tin one.
Like the thermos.
Thermos. That's what it was, actually, literally a thermos. She used to come with it filled with straight vodka.
I like
one
coffee
time
flask,
she was fucked up. Right?
It is a coffee flask. That's
but literally one time she was fucked up in class. They had to escort her off campus.
Damn, what the fuck?
Like it was bad. She used to do that shit all the time.
But see, the way to finesse, how I learned to finesse was like you get them big gulps
in
sometimes.
high school though, like you in high school.
But you put the big gulps and you put it in there, put the straw in through it.
They won't
close it up. Yeah, I was smart, boy. I was fucked up smart.
Like our parents did that, like bad shit like that.
1,000%.
No, my mother was a goodie.
I feel like my mother was on some shit.
If you go back and ask them, I guarantee you, well, back in the day.
No, my pops got the stories. That's some shit. I'm like, oh, well, I did none of that.
I was bringing crack to school.
Oh, God.
Full crack? Like, yo, Pops, he said, nah, bro, like, I had to do what I had to do, man.
Right.
In the 70s and shit, I think my mom was like in middle school, probably beginning of high school. She was born in 63. So 73, she would be 10. Probably in the 80s, she was in high school, but maybe like middle school, whatever.
That was the crack era.
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm like.
No, that's early.
It
That's
was on
early
some shit
80s. Crack
package.
was like mid 80s, no? Like mid to late 80s.
I would
I
say
don't know.
so.
I'm just trying to figure out what the high school kids were up
I'm trying to figure out
in
my
the
mom was on
70s,
crack.
80s. Yeah, you know, I was trying to figure out what the fuck she was doing when she was wilding.
It's so
Fuck.
fun.
No, go.
So funny we talking about that too. I was just listening to my boy's mixtape that he just dropped, and one of his
Slide that
verses
in there.
was
You
like,
gonna give him
The
a
way
cheap
you
was
plug?
like-
define it,
what
right?
happened?
Like,
You gonna
yeah.
give him a cheap plug, bro?
hey, I mean,
What's
might
his
as well,
name? What's
man.
his
Yo, man,
name?
Trav in this building, man. He just dropped his demo tape, man. Go ahead and check that out. He's a local boy. He's been grinding for it. Yo, man, Trav. Shout
Check
out
that.
to you.
Get it. Listen, like, subscribe.
But yeah,
all that
and one
shit.
of the things he was like, he said, they sold crack to my grandma. He's like, so I don't fuck with no grammar or something like that around those lines. But I was like, yo, that's so crazy because
That's hilarious.
crack was really out there. I mean, not to transition into that weird shit, but yo, as high school students, we
I
was on
like
some
to
shit.
get weird. We can get
I don't
weird.
like-
But you,
I mean,
but you
they-
think about it, when shit first dropped, right, and everybody's doing it, you just do it. You don't know the ramifications until later. You know what I
right,
mean?
when people become crack addicts.
Yeah.
Or crack
Yeah.
babies.
Or anything. You know what I mean?
'cause
Like
it's a
we
new
see it with
drug.
we see it with every drug. Like we had this conversation a couple
Xans.
pods ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
People
shit
like,
like
oh,
that.
you doing it, so I'm gonna do it, and then you realize you get hooked to that shit, and it's like, in retrospect, at the time, we ain't know that you know we was wilding and shit.
For real.
As time goes by, you're like, yo, like the whippets and shit. I didn't know motherfuckers was doing them shits like in the 90s and it came back. I thought this was a new shit.
Not somebody I know doing hella whippets at my homeboy's house. I got there and I was like, what the fuck are these little tan looking bullet things? And all you hear is like, all you hear them shaking back and forth. So I'm like, it sounds like
Yo,
empty cans hitting each other. And
You
I'm
say,
like,
yo, are they blowing up balloons?
I deadass was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I see the can and it looks like it says whip it. So I thought it was like whipped cream. I sprayed it just to be an asshole. And it was air. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I really was like, are they going to blow up balloons or something? Like, what is this for?
Real
I'm
purpose
very
of an
naive to
object.
it. None of my fucking
Yeah.
friends do that shit. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then I started cleaning up and I was like, God damn, like, this is a lot of little
They be getting
stuff.
a lot of them shits.
Yo, it was
A
a
lot.
half of the counter full of them.
Yeah.
They come in like 60 packs and he had like 3 packs and he had downed all of them.
We use them
So,
shits at Starbucks.
My homeboy was like, yo, you know, he like does that shit. Like he's doing that shit. And I'm like, who's doing that shit? So, you know, they said his name, whatever. And I'm like, he's doing that shit right now. This nigga comes out the bathroom, takes the can and does that shit. And I said, I know damn well
What the
you
fuck?
didn't go through all these little bullets on this whole time by himself. Nobody else does it.
See,
So I was like,
I
where
don't
do you
know.
pick up this trend at? Who
My
tells y'all
niggas
to do
just
this?
stick to that bud and then other
I feel like
things,
it makes you
but that shit,
dumb.
most
Like,
of that shit makes you dumb.
Has to.
Bro, you
You're
literally
pushing air into your brain.
It's like straight CO2 straight into your face. You feel me? It's
That's
like-
crazy.
It makes me not want to. Is that what? That's literally what's inside balloons, and it makes your voice funny, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
their
no,
voice.
that's helium.
That's helium.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say his voice was normal.
She's like,
kept, like,
I don't think they really blow up
wondering.
balloons.
he come back like,
That's
yo,
crazy.
say something, bro. He sounded regular. You're like, what you
the
sipping on? Like, what the hell?
Let me get some of that helium CO2.
Is that what my
Imagine.
voice sound like? That's what you think? Because that's not what it sounds like. I can hear it right now.
I don't know. It
It's like
sounds
chocolate. He was drinking. He was smoking the whippets.
She said whippets.
Whippets.
I remember when they first made whippets.
I
that's
remember back
crazy.
in my day, we
That's
stuck
crazy.
to Four Locos and Xanax bars.
Yo, imagine Neesa being a valedictorian and shit. She got to give a speech.
Hi guys.
Oh my god.
Thank you for joining me.
They're like,
I
no,
got the
we-
best
we-
grades in this bitch.
we need the
You know,
student.
If I was valedictorian, I swear on everything, I'm gonna mention how my grades were the highest, and that's why I'm fucking in this position. It means you have the highest GPA in the entire school when you're valedictorian.
That is
mean,
facts.
it's
These are
a fact.
facts.
You're valid
Bro.
to speak on your
Our high school
accolades.
You valid
valedictorian,
to
I
speak on
think,
the
was like
Victorians?
a 4.8. I was like, bro,
Damn.
smart. There's people with 5 point
To go
something
where?
GPAs. Like, I mean, I don't remember where they went to
DSC,
school, but
word.
Word, I see you. I'm in there too, bro. Valedictorian with
Valencia.
me in the same class, nigga. What's up?
imagine.
Yo, no, this is, it's cheaper to go to, state schools. And,
It
you know what I
It is,
mean?
man.
I
Get
went
your
to
education.
Community, it's all the same
For
shit.
sure. I went to a community college for my first 2 years, then went to a university for the rest to I still was figuring out what I wanted to do with my major. So it was the best choice for me.
Bro,
and
that
it
shit
was
is rough.
cheaper. Like, oh my God, if I would have went straight to a university from high school, it would have been very hard to afford all of that. And living here, like, it would have just been way too much. I mean, I was on a scholarship, but my scholarship didn't cover my full tuition.
Regular.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's tough.
How many times did y'all change y'all
Major?
major? Never? I changed my shit like 3 times.
I haven't changed, bro.
I changed my minor once.
That counts.
I ain't never even
Yeah.
picked a minor, bro. That's crazy. I just went straight for one thing.
Bro,
Still doing it.
I was in that bitch, changed it like 3 times.
A lot of people did, but I wasn't into that. I wanted
ended
to do
up
what
on
I did.
radio, television, but all of them were all in the same like school and shit. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was that bad switching. Like I'm going from law to fucking radio. I stuck to radio. I'm like, yeah, radio, TV. I'm gonna stay on this, and I got the opportunity here, and I was like,
you think I'm just gonna pass over the fact you said law?
no. I was being sarcastic.
Oh,
I'm saying,
I was
like,
about to say, I was like, damn, that's
like when you
tough,
switch
bro.
your major, I know somebody that did all 4 years in law. Well, plus because you got to do more than that, like 5-6 years in law. Realized that's not what she wanted to do. Something happened behind the scenes. She switched it up, and she started going to school to be a personal trainer.
What?
Wow.
A lot of people do
That
stop
is,
doing that.
that is,
I mean, because it's like a trade. You pick up a trade because you get passionate in it, and it's like you can still make really good money as a personal trainer.
Not a personal trainer, like a physical trainer type shit. Like the
Like
ones
a
that
physical therapist?
Physical therapist, pardon me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's tough too. That's
Yeah.
still tough.
But I'm saying, you see, from A to B, those are 2 different things. So you got
very far
to you got
right
to
and left.
retake classes.
Yeah, you have
got
to literally
redo everything.
redo absolutely everything. You start from scratch when you get a new major.
I would cry.
if it's in a different field.
You got to rewire your brain, bro. This is when I was still living in New York. My coworker, my roommate at the time, he comes home. He's like, "Yo, bro, let me ask you something. Whatever happened to Boom Boom?" I was like, "Oh, she's doing what she got to do. You feel me? Like we haven't spoken in a while, but I know that she was getting her degree in law and all that." She's like, she's in the city, I think. He's like, "Yeah, bro, she was like my TA in class," because he's going down that road as well.
for physical.
Yeah. He's like, "Yo, she was my TA." I was like, "Damn, she switched up?" That shit fucked my head up. I'm like, bro, that's 2 different things, but I don't think I could do that shit.
I mean, nothing's
But a lot
ever
of
really set in stone.
Well, when you're in school, though, sometimes you have to study it. And if you absolutely eventually like hate it, like I know a lot of people who were doing medical for a while, 2-3 years, and they stopped because they absolutely hated it. And they're like, look, I tried. It's good money. It's what I was told was supposed to be good, but I'm never going to be happy. And I have 8 more years of school. So it's like, you got to get out while you technically, I guess you can, but it's a waste of money to take all those courses.
But it kills me with them loans, boy.
What?
Unless it would be dope because I don't know what the vibes is now. If you have that degree, she was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get the other degree as well."
The
She
loan
just
gets
double
changed.
dipping.
Yeah.
She double dipping. That'll be fun.
That would be, but when they start saying, "Hey, you gotta pay," I don't make that money.
That double dip. Yeah.
I'm just hoping this man Biden's sticking true to his word, man. Exposure, whatever the hell it is.
Expunging it from, what is it, 40 grand?
I don't remember
40
the numbers.
grand.
As
Well, I
long as
better rack
it's
that shit
over
up.
10, that's all I owe back now at this point.
Shit, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you been paying back?
I had,
You said at this
like
point.
here and there. Okay, so I got
tough.
scholarships literally, and every year I would apply for new scholarships too. So I got a scholarship to go to school, and I went to a community college, so I was getting FAFSA and shit. And in a community college, it's a lot cheaper. So I was actually saving money, able to, sell what I needed to, got to regular college. I had money to get into a place, get myself situated, new laptop, books, everything. Then I applied for the little baby scholarships, like they do
Like the Pell Grants and
scholarships.
shit?
Yeah, Pell Grants. They do scholarships for writing essays, being minority. So I used to do a lot of those scholarships, and it got
Thanks.
me money here and there. It'd be like $750.
That was a major
scholarship
key,
to
too.
$1,000.
It was.
Like grabbing those ones that you could.
I wasn't rich. I didn't come from that. I had to figure out what I could.
When we were leaving high school, one of I think it was like my English teacher at the time. She was like, "Yo, apply for these like the Native American fund." You feel me?
Yeah.
Even though you may not be Native American, a lot of people won't go for it. So if you just throw it out there, the worst they can say is no. You
It's
just come
no,
back
and
with
you just try, and it's
1,000.
You know,
Whatever
so
it is.
funny. They even
It's
had one for
easy.
saying if you lived in a certain area.
Yeah,
Like,
because
oh,
you're-
yeah,
because you had
Daytona,
hard.
boom.
It was like a hardship to live in that area.
Yeah.
So yes, so I applied for a bunch of those, and then I of course took out. I only had to take out like crazy loanish, I guess, towards the end, and it wasn't even a big loan. It was just to get me through the semester. So I've probably paid back maybe a couple thousand through,
Same.
and I graduated in 2017. So that's really not that much over the time.
10,000 not at all.
I only need
Not at all.
10,000 is my mark right now, and I have it on a pause because when COVID hit, they allowed you to pause without
Yeah,
fees.
deferment.
Yeah, exactly. So
Shit, they
I
hitting me
deferred
back
it.
up. I'm like,
Really?
bro, we still in
I
a
deferred for
pandemic.
years. So yeah, so right now I'm in
afraid for
deferment.
them to hit me
But
back.
I'm praying that this man passes that shit and it's in at least over 10 grand, so I could just have all my shit forgiven.
For
What I
sure.
want to do, what I was learning, like just getting this like financial literacy and shit, just consolidating all like your loans, student loans, everything into one. So it just looks like one big ass loan and you just pay it off like that. That helps with your credit and things of that nature as well. Because as opposed to you having like 3 different loans, you feel me? It's all into one. So it looks better on the report.
Can you do that on credit cards too?
I don't know. I mean, they look at your history and
Probably.
everything is kind of still broken up. Because when I look at my credit or the history of the loan, it's my school loan. It's one.
Yeah,
But
I think when you try to close out all your credit cards at once, you could probably do it. I don't know if you can do it at once.
That's what I was thinking too, because they're all their own separate one. They're all their own separate line of credit, you know what I mean? As opposed to your loans, when you consolidate all of them into one, you can just...
Yeah, because they're already giving you the money and they're not giving you any more.
Yeah.
credit card, you're paying it off to reuse it. So,
You can't be like, yo,
guess
can I consolidate my credit cards? No, you got a MasterCard, you got a Visa, you got this, you got that. No, you can't. Pay them off, motherfucker.
That's why I don't.
Shit.
One thing I don't play with is my credit, man.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
almost
learned
to the
that
big white
since
man
I was
credit.
23 that I started working on my credit, which is literally no time ago. But
Bro,
it took me that long to finally like settle down and worry about it.
That shit been on a roller coaster, boy. That shit went up, that shit went down, that
My
shit
shit
was
went-
chilling, that shit went down, then it went up, and then it went. I'm like, yo,
So my credit was actually very, very well when I started it. I didn't actually have a credit card until I was 22. So I didn't know how to work credit. So I was just paying everything how I thought. And my credit score was like 7 something.
Nice.
Something fucking happened it was literally out of my control. So my credit I co-signed for somebody and my credit,
that's
and
where
they
you
got their
fucked
car
up.
repoed.
That's where you fucked
My
up.
credit score took a dive like 200 points. So ever since then, I've been building it back.
Yep.
But it's been a couple of years. So I've been building and building and building and building. And it's now I'm getting it to where it's decent right now.
That's
Because
good.
but it took, so I had to take out more credit cards and I had to pay off more faster and close out my bigger accounts just so there was no debt to credit like ratio.
Yeah.
So I had to pay off, close out, and just focus on getting the small ones, giving back. I didn't know also that you're supposed to live off your credit cards and pay your credit cards off with like your regular bank accounts. I just found that out that the best way to build credit is to live off your credit card. So pay your rent on your credit card, use your deposited bank money or whatever, and pay your credit
bitch
card
off.
off the same whatever. And if you're paying it off in huge amounts that much, they're like, oh, they got money. But really, it's you're just not spending that money like extra spare money.
I didn't know that at first either.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I still
didn't
don't
know that. So now,
That's
now
a
you
major
know.
key. Yeah.
That's crazy.
For sure.
Because I'm too afraid to swipe any of my credit cards.
But you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You're
I
literally
started
supposed
off just doing like gas and food. That's what I
They
started off
should
at
have
when I
taught
first
us
started
this.
building.
Like they didn't teach us this in school at all.
That's funny because
Unless
we
you're
did talk
in
to the senator
financial
about it.
literacy, unless you're in like financial literacy classes,
Yes.
you're getting into accounting, you really don't understand credit. Or I would say like getting into real estate, they
Yes.
teach you about credit because you're looking for other people's credit. They don't teach you about credit for yourself. They teach you it for other people and attaining property, stuff like that.
Yep.
But I just seen a TikTok too from a girl the other day, and she said that basically there's some type of loan that you can take out, and I'll try to find that by next episode so I can tell people. For those of you who are interested in listening, I can update you guys next week when I got all my Carfax. But basically, it was on TikTok. This girl was saying there's a certain type of loan that you can take out when you buy your first property that you only pay 10% of what it's a loan that you take out and you only put up 10% and then you
Yeah,
of course
I've
pay
seen
off
that
your
one.
mortgage. So she lived with her parents, moved out and bought a duplex. She lived in one of them and she rented out the other. She only paid $3,500 to buy it. And then her I guess tenant pays for her mortgage and shit, so she lives for free.
Yeah, I see.
Literally
that
lives for
exact
free,
same
of
one.
course, besides bills. But what the fuck are bills compared to rent? Nothing. And what are
Absolutely
bills
nothing.
compared to a mortgage? Nothing. So she's already getting her like hand in real estate, being able to have something like that. I'm sure she has great credit, and was like 19, 20.
Major
My
key.
God damn. I wish I would have seen that before I moved out.
Shit, I wish
honestly.
I would have seen it before high school ended.
Shit, y'all still. Well, we're all still young, of course.
We're
so
all
you can
still
just do
young,
that
but
shit.
it's just so much things that we could have
Implemented in our
implemented
life.
and got up
when
on.
you had less shit to
when
do.
you had less shit to do, less
Facts.
stress, and less like worries, and your schedule allotted for you to play around with money
For
too.
real, just less
Like-
shit.
Right now, it's like, okay,
Yep.
we risking it? Are we risking it?
Yep. It's always in like retrospect. Because you don't get it at that time. Everybody tells you, like, yo, do that shit now. You're like, man, I'll figure it out.
'Cause you're
Don't worry
young,
about
right.
it. What the fuck are you talking about? And then you get here to this stage, and we're like, yeah, we could have, you know,
I could have dabbled.
taken a little detour. You feel me? That may have set us up for a better position. But listen, that's why we here. You feel me?
I mean, honestly, you buy a property, and then of course, you know, at that time, if you're young and that's your first place, you're probably not gonna have the money to put down and renovate it completely. You know what I mean? You'll do the minor renovation, make sure the plumber's set up, all that good stuff. But when you start getting comfortable, of course, that money comes in. You start getting used to whatever the pay is. And if you have another job and you're stacking up your money, you start being able to afford to get these renovations. And when you start doing renovations, that rent price goes up too. But just because your rent prices, you change those. Your mortgage isn't changing. I'm sure yearly they up and they increase by taxes and stuff like that.
You can set whatever price you want.
Exactly. But you set the price for what you feel like your, you know, place is worth getting rented out as. In a renovated place, you can tax that shit damn near $1,000 more than what you were doing before because it comes furnished, fixed up,
I'm moving out.
shit like that. For real.
Real estate is the next one, bro. Like, I feel like stocks
Real
is right
estate's
under that.
huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the foray into just understanding what's going on out here in the real estate is where the real bread is made, though.
Real estate
is
is
true.
where
I mean,
real
look
bread
at-
is
look
because
at
people
Russ.
gotta live.
Yeah, Russ found the key to the whole real estate itself.
Russ
That's why
as
he-
in brown eye, blue eye Russ?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he got into the whole buying property and owning land and what you establish on it and getting these, you know, housing complexes and stuff like that. Funny enough, I think he learned all that from Rick Ross, if I'm mistaken.
I'm sure I wouldn't doubt that. Rick Ross owns
he took
literally
it,
half
yeah.
of Miami.
And this man, Russ, I mean, look at Russ. Russ is, he don't have to do anything for the rest of his life, obviously.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's literally money you just sit and make.
That's true.
Because somebody
Passive
lives. Yeah, it's passive income, but it's huge passive income.
Oh, it's the
Because
perfect
people are
income.
always looking. People are always going to be into real estate because somebody always got to live somewhere.
So what do you
I
think
mean,
about?
the market could be down,
That's true.
but that's when you buy. Honestly,
But that's when you think outside the box, because when you think about it, you could do the same thing. I saw this too. I forgot where it was, but it's a good
I'm
point.
gonna buy a house.
That say like your car, right? Y'all both have a car. We all have cars, of course, but it's like if you had the opportunity, what you could do is find somebody that could do Uber or some shit. Even if you don't want to do it yourself, you could rent it out to them. Rent your car out to that person to do the
Turo.
Uber. You just take whatever percentage from there. People wrap their cars. They own cars with like other people's businesses and shit. Like, listen, I be around downtown
Oh
Orlando
yeah,
all the
you get
fucking
paid
time.
for that, right?
They get their bread from that. You know what I mean? Like, there's different avenues that you could take when you
I
have
don't know if
certain
I'm wrapping
assets
my car.
in order to, yeah.
I mean,
know,
if
right?
I had a
See,
beater,
fuck that.
If, I
If
had
you
a
paying,
fucking
bro.
beater,
How
I'm
much?
not.
How much do you think people are getting paid to wrap their car in someone's
people
fucking logo?
get stacks.
I mean, if you have
You
a
think?
beater,
Hell yeah,
you
it's a
could get paid.
billboard. It's a moving billboard. You know how much people pay to get a billboard on
I'm
I-4,
like,
a
would I
stationary
be mad?
billboard?
Should I get a dildo? Go to a sex store?
You should definitely
And
do
just
that.
get a big ass
Somebody
dildo
does
on the
that
side of
here.
my
I wouldn't do
Not
that.
the dildo thing, but they,
Somebody does
Maybe
that
the
here.
banner,
gotta-
but not the object.
they wrap their whole truck with like a CBD company.
Yep.
Okay.
And they
But
just
you
drive that
think
bitch
about
around.
it, you could double dip. The same shit that I just said about the Uber situation, it's even better because now you have somebody driving around Universal, Orlando, going everywhere with that person's company on it. So you could charge them even more for that. You feel me? So it's just, it wasn't until recently that it started to open my mind up about different ways that you can
Get these
get money from your
incomes.
assets, this passive income in order to literally make money while you chilling, while you sleeping. You feel me?
Shit.
Not a lot of people think that way.
No, not a lot. And that's funny because that's definitely an avenue that's very under the rug.
Telling you, man,
Crazy.
it's true. Especially around like I said, the metro areas,
Yeah.
moving billboards. I'm like, yo, come on, man, stop fucking around.
It's so funny because a couple of my friends, you know, they invest. They also have a good paying job. And on the side, they're all like, hey, why doesn't everyone DoorDash? I was like, I don't know how I feel about DoorDashing. You know what I mean? But
Bro, my girl's grandfather, bro, he said he was in the police force for quite some time. Like he got another job. He got really high in that shit. Even to this day, still with the got stacks, bro, stacks on stacks on stacks. Just moved to bought and moved to his retirement home that's in the fucking Virgin Islands, chilling. But I say that to say, even up to that point, he was still doing like Uber Eats, things of that
DoorDash
nature,
and stuff like that.
just to get some bread on the side. Keep in mind, he didn't need it. He did it in order to allow himself to live the life that he wanted to live. You feel me? So he didn't have to spend the money that he was making through his other investments. He could just spend it, you know, whatever he was making on the Uber on like bullshit. You feel me?
Yeah, that's smart. That's
So
smart.
it's just about the way you look at shit, bro. You feel me? Like, for instance, the GameStop, AMC, and all that, even the Dogecoin, when Dogecoin went up last week, I'm sure a lot of people made a lot of money, but what are you doing with it? You know what I mean? I know people want to quit their jobs and shit like that, but it's like, how far is this money going to get you? What are you doing that you're setting yourself up for your money to make money for you? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's where we got to change the mentality. Because you think about it, bro, anybody get any sort of bread that we think is quote unquote like substantial, we going to be like, oh, you good, bro.
Yeah,
like,
you're never really good.
You never
It's
know
just
what
for
can happen,
the moment.
bro.
Yeah, it's just a moment, bread. That's crazy. It's the mentality too. You just
Yeah,
gotta
bro.
fix the rewiring and start shooting for the stars.
Shit, that's why I'm excited, bro. Just keep on doing what we doing. And if we come up on a lick, like what are you going to do with that first lick? You feel me?
Flip that bag.
Has to.
Flip it.
My actually somebody that I personally know just sold his first house that he bought.
Woo!
And he's right.
Congrats, yo.
He's moving into a new place. He posted a video and he was like, I wish somebody would have told me this before, like to get into the real estate aspect of it. He was like, because I've been sleeping on a bag. I could have rented my house out forever ago.
Facts.
And then bought a new house and did all this shit. But I just thought about it. And now that I'm doing that, I'm getting a bag for my my rental property right now. So I was like, damn, and he's a grown up. Not we're all grown ups, but
I know
he's a
at
grown ass
that-
fucking
yeah,
man.
he's
Yeah,
at
he in
that.
his 30s. So it's like, all right, he knows. You go through life, and when you hit a certain age, you're like, okay, we're thinking it now, and I'm 25, you're 27, 28,
29.
29. Damn. 26, 25, 27, 28. Jay is 12. But like
Got jokes.
like we're still young, but we're thinking of all these things that we're like, fuck, why didn't we think about this in high school? Why didn't we think about this, when we were younger or whatever it may be? But
Bro, the way I look
like
at it
now.
now, because it like FOMO, like you can't have that no more, like that fear of missing out shit.
Oh
or that
my
you
God.
already
I have
missed out.
JOMO.
I have
I'm fucking with you.
no,
Joy of
honestly,
missing out.
like
nigga.
I have FOMO
No, I'm
a lot
fucking
of
with
the
you.
times, but then I'm like, oh shit, I could still do it.
Yeah.
Can.
Like you can still do
The,
it.
the way I look
can.
at it is that a lot of people, they die without the information. You feel me? A
Yeah,
lot of
that's
people don't get
crazy.
it. How many times do you
That's
see
crazy.
people like in your neighborhoods or whatever the case is, just in this one example that they just still doing the same shit.
Right.
They got all the time in the world. They don't want to, you know what I mean? Some people just don't get it. But the fact that we got it just gives us the opportunity to build the foundation whenever we get to that point, you feel me?
Facts.
That we can actually cross that bridge. A lot of people can't cross that bridge because they ain't built it.
Exactly.
They ain't
But
built
they
it.
want somebody else to build it for them.
That's it.
No,
Or
no,
they think it's just going to come to them. Like, nah, bro.
Ain't
you
shit
gotta-
sweet out here, boy.
Yeah.
We work for ours.
One of my friends in New York, their parents, their mother actually sold some property they had in Brooklyn a couple years ago.
Ooh.
And I was like, that's dope. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, if you would have just rented that bitch out, because they already had a crib out here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So for whatever reason, she chose to sell it, and you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? That's your shit. But
Of course.
in that area, the property value shot up, and it's like for what you would pay for, whatever it was at that time. Probably she was paying it was rent controlled, a couple hundred, like $800, $700 for rent. You know what I mean? Shit, she could have shot that bitch up to like, 2,000 and make that passive income every month.
That is true.
But it is what it is. You know what I mean? I would love to do that. I think that would be my next foray. This crib that Chris and I bought here, we bought that as an investment crib. So we're going to build that bitch up. And then when it gets to that time, you feel me?
Separate from it.
I like that. That's
Well, we gonna
smart.
rent that bitch out, man. Yo,
It's so
like,
funny 'cause-
you need a crib? Come on down. We ain't gonna hit you over the head with it, but you gonna pay us some bread every month. You know what I mean?
we had another house that we were renting. It was in Sanford. These people didn't take fucking no care of the house. All the
That's
time
the
we always
thing.
had to go back and take care of it. It's so crazy because I'm over here talking about all these things and not remembering that we
You did
have
it.
touched on this because we was gonna stay in there, and then that's when we moved to where we're at,
Yep.
and we're like, nah. But things happened. The market fucking crashed, so a lot of people lost everything.
You have to know, bro. You have to know these. That's what I learned when we were in the Winter Park crib, because we were renting it from a friend's father. And he was like, listen, when it gets to this point, you got to deal with people that you know, because it's like you said, that shit will happen. You just rent it out to someone you don't know, that they don't appreciate it. They're not going to take care of it. That shit.
And then
shoots
you
down.
have to pay to replace all this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could fee them, but there's certain stuff that you have to count as wear and tear.
That is
People don't
true.
argue that, like, oh, it's wear and tear.
Was it one of y'all that said that someone that y'all knew was in a situation like that they were renting their property out to somebody and they just did not want to leave? Was it one of y'all?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
This was a couple months ago, and
That's
I was like, yo,
crazy.
what the fuck? It was like a big thing, bro, because of course they own the property and shit. But for whatever reason, since they were in there for like the past 30 days or whatever it is, or 2 months, they're like, well, they technically live there and they're paying the rent, so we can't really kick them out. But they're like, yo, get the fuck out of my property, bro. They're like, and the police were like, yo, there's nothing we could do about it, bro. And I'm like, yo, that's a weird situation
That's weird.
to be in.
I mean,
awkward.
It's similar to, remember, I'm like, I know I story timed this before, but when I fought my old roommate's boyfriend,
Yes, I
Okay.
remember this.
the cops came to arrest me because he had technically been living there.
Yeah.
His belongings were in the house, and he got mail to our house, and he had been there. They asked me how long he had been there, and I'm like, fucking way too many weeks, like damn near a month. And they're like, okay, well, he's been here for 30 days, so he lives here. I was like, bitch. They literally like let me tell, like it basically justified it, and the only people who can legally kick them out are people with the deed to the house or to own the property, which would be the leasing office, and it would have to be an official request, and then
a
we would
whole
have to
thing.
basically be like, we want to break the lease. Only way they can kick
That's
them out is
way
if,
too
if I
fucking
say I
much.
want to break the lease.
That's
So
too
if
much.
an original leaseholder wants to leave, you have to break the entire lease no matter what. And if I want to, okay, let's say you have a roommate and you guys are fighting or whatever, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking break the lease on them. Instead of just moving out and being like, okay, whatever, we're just not gonna pay the rent. If you go to the leasing office and say, I'm breaking the lease, I'm not living there no more, you can, of course, pay the amount to leave. But once you break that lease, your roommate got to move out too. They got to reapply, they got to repay, they do that because they got to get the fuck out.
That's crazy. Get the fuck out.
That grimy as fuck.
The
You
only
made
be
good
careful.
part, the
You woke
only
up
way
and
you
chose
can get over
violence.
that, right? No, I mean honestly, because like, what would you do if one day just because y'all have a little
Little spat.
falling out,
Word.
they go and try to leave and
You
leave
ain't washed
the
the
lease?
dishes, nigga.
My bro,
You done kicked my dog? What's wrong with you?
You
you left dog shit on the carpet.
Look, my old roommate and me at one point, like the one I had before I moved out by myself, we're at a good place now. You've met her. We're at a good place now. But, you know, when we first moved in, I didn't know her because, remember, she was a random. So I didn't know her at all. She had moved in, and I was already, like, aggravated because of the way that my old roommate left. I wasn't feeling it. So it was just like, okay, whatever. Now I'm forced to live with a stranger. As nice as I am, my home is my happy place, and my home is my place of peace. So I don't like people I don't know in my shit. But
Facts.
it's technically there. She's paying the same thing, so it's her shit too. But it's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I didn't sign the lease with somebody I didn't know. So it wasn't something I would have preferred. But of course, now I know her and it's cool. But at the beginning, her boyfriend was always there. And the first thing we agreed on was that her boyfriend could not be over for a certain like amount because I'm a single woman. I like to be around my house damn near naked. And my old roommate didn't have a boyfriend, so I never had to deal with it. So I prefer not to. It was an agreed upon statement. We both said yeah. And it obviously didn't work out like I thought it was going to. So I became irritated. And I said something. We had conversations to the point where she was like, well, I don't know what to tell you, so we're going to have to break the lease.
Woo!
She was like, I mean, my best solution is to move out, so we could try to whatever. And I was like, you literally are the only person after all this time that agreed to like move in here, and it was straight. So no, I don't want that. Why can't you guys just figure out a medium? But he lived with his parents, and she obviously had her own place. So realistically, her place was better. But I mean, I just it kind of chilled out, kind of didn't. And I just dealt with it until I moved out. And now they live together and I live in my own spot and we happy. But it
Grown
was
adult,
something
see?
to like.
You figured it out,
yeah,
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we figured it
definitely
out.
did.
It was
The
never
story
anything
didn't go
personal.
south.
He was
Yeah.
a nice person. You know, he was cool and I still like him. I think he's a nice person. I just thought that, in my opinion, I wasn't like that with like the men that I fuck with. I usually go to their house. But most of the time they live by themselves. And if they have a roommate, we're in their room or their roommate's not home. Like, shit like that. So I never dealt with it. And like, I had gone from only dating older men, so I didn't, not older, but you know, men with their own house or their own shit.
40-year-olds,
Like,
yeah.
No, like
Neesa and her 40-year-olds,
late
man.
20s, 30s type of thing. So they're in their own place. Like at that age, you're definitely in your own place mostly. I mean, I don't know too many 30-year-olds with a roommate, but you know.
Shit.
I mean, I know some for sure, but I'm not dating them. So
Well, the thing
it's
is,
a
like,
thing.
when you get to that point, it's like, yeah, it would save a lot of money if I had a roommate. You
That is
understand?
true.
guess,
True.
but
You're
I
thinking
mean-
about your bag rather than the.
I mean, I feel that, but I personally like my own personal space, and that if you get in a relationship, you're not gonna want like your girl around your home. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It's certain things that it's like you really have to have your own place to be comfortable. You're in a relationship.
Just stay in your room. Duh.
Shut the fuck up. Like, bro, what if you want to fuck on the kitchen counter? What if you want to fuck on the couch? That's somebody else laying there. Like,
tell them to live.
Nah, that's somebody else.
That's why you send that pretext beforehand.
Like, clear it.
Be like, yo, we occupying there. Give me 5 hours.
Yo, when I had a roomie, bro, it was nigga all hands on deck. Whatever happened. You feel me? I bet. Oh, I got you, bro. I'll holler at you.
Just clean the fridge. Clean the fridge.
As long as you clean up, you're good. You know what I mean?
Yep. Don't want to wake up tomorrow. You got to be janitor.
Do what you do. You feel me?
Yes, indeed.
Those are some times, man. You ever had a roommate?
Nah.
Like a room?
Nah.
Like when it's the people you fuck with?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, you do have roommates.
Yeah,
well, I just mean like friends, like not family.
I'm being funny.
You know what I mean? No.
Like,
that's why he was like, motherfuckers. Yeah, some of my favorite times, bro, was like when I was roommated up, bro. We would just be wilding.
I mean,
well, I guess I can say I stayed with my friend for a little bit. I had a little falling out, but then I
he said I had a little falling out. I'm leaving, packs his bag in a fucking blankie.
A blankie.
Did you tell the leasing office?
Yeah, broke the lease.
He said, we both out of here, bro. What you mean?
It was just too much, though. There was a lot of consistent arguing and shit, so I was mostly in my car.
Sometimes you need that. But I mean, okay, so I've had some great times with roommates too, though. Like my old roommate that I share my dog with now, I love her. I didn't want to move out from with her when we did live together, but she got in a relationship and they were older than me. So he was ready to live with her. And they were like, okay, we're going to get our own place.
So, yo, I fucking love you. Let's live together.
I mean, well, he had roommates and he was at that age, like they were getting to that age where they were like, okay, we don't want to live with people anymore.
They want to eat ass on their
together.
time.
No, for real though. I mean, it is what it is. If you can do your thing, do your thing. But after that, I had got another roommate and it was one of my close friends. It did not work out. Like, I love her to death. It's still one of my closest friends, but she wasn't a good person for me to live with. And then my next roommate, I loved her and then we re-signed, but she got a job opportunity. So
you ever had a roommate of the opposite sex before?
No.
That's how do you feel about that?
I wouldn't want a roommate. I wouldn't want a male roommate. I'm not cleaning up after you. Most men you have to clean up after.
That was
it's really
a
hard
blanket
to
statement.
find.
You heard that?
Yeah.
Disrespect?
Yeah, it was all right. We put that one under the rug, bro. We clean out here.
I'm just saying, like, I'm sure you guys are clean there. I do have a lot of homeboys that are clean and shit, but I'm just saying most of the time men are dirty. So it's like, I have looked into UCF housing, like with strangers, and it was a mix of guys and girls in the house. And when I went, I was just like, this is just too many people.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to live with a guy and not live with girls too. So I don't know. It's just a comfort thing. And like, if I get a boyfriend would be like,
what the fuck?
You live with guys?
Yeah, I had a couple female
roommates.
Yeah, we were fucking. You know what I mean? Nah, fuck.
I'm like,
I was like,
nah,
yo,
I had one, bro.
Christina said, what the fuck is the time frame on that?
She knows all the vibes. But no, I had one at one point. We was in Brooklyn. You feel me? But I was on the brink of being homeless, and she was like, yo, bro, like if you, like I got you. I was like, fuck it.
Oh, well, I had that.
But I already knew the vibes. You feel me? So I tried my best. She probably say a different story, but I haven't heard any complaints. But I tried my best. You feel me? I understood. I'm like, all right, like this is her place. I'm gonna try my best to just be on my P's and Q's.
Stay in your own lane.
Exactly. You try to. Are you good? Like what you want? What do you usually do and shit? Because most of the time, at that time, I was in and out anyway. You feel me? So it wasn't like I was at the crib just
24/7
playing video games all day. You feel me? I was doing mad shit. But thankfully, like I've known her for quite some time. Like we both known each other and we're pretty cordial to that point. So it was kind of an easy process, but it was like it was a good like 7-8 months that we was living together. Yeah, it was a long time.
I had I guess technically I did have guy roommates. At a point I was in between leases and I couldn't find a roommate and I couldn't afford to live on my own. This was like years back. Well, not years, but like 3 years back. I couldn't afford to live on my own. So I was looking for a roommate, but I needed the perfect roommate. And that's why I like started looking into UCF randos, shit like that. Cause I was like, okay, I need to get into a place. But he let me at the time, I mean, we're not friends anymore, not because of anything about me living there. Anyways. Long story.
Another spiel.
We're not right. Another time for my story. Another day for my story time. But Anyway, he let me live with him because I was on the brink of basically being homeless. I was in between. I stayed with him, I think, for like 2.5 months, maybe 2 months, 2 months or 2.5 months. But I made sure I completely cleaned their entire apartment. I cooked for them like every other night that I could. I bought groceries and I helped pay the light bill because I was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
So I might as well be here. But I was never in the house. I was always working doubles, shit like that, to try to be able to afford putting my shit aside and trying to look for a new place. So, but I brought my dog with me. They fucking love my dog. They still talk about her. Like,
That's a
they
good
babysat
thing.
her
That's
when I left. I needed like babysitters sometimes, and when Ashley wasn't available, they would literally, with no problem, watch her over the weekend, keep her all the time. They loved her. They took care of her. She peed in their apartment, and they cleaned it up and didn't say anything. Did not. No, like I would be like mad like that, and they'd be like, "No, bro, she's a dog. It's fine." And I'm like, "No, I walk her
That's what
plenty
they
of
said
times."
to your face, but when it was alone, they were
I
like,
haven't heard any compliments. I haven't heard any complaints either ever about it.
yeah, that's
And
all you can go
after
by. You feel me? So it's like,
and it's also like after they were like, "We miss you being here." So that's how I knew they didn't have complaints, because they were like, "We miss you being here." And we would literally, I would come home from like working a double and tell them all my stories in the night. They would be playing the game, and I'd come and like, it was honestly one of the best,
warm feeling.
For real, like
that's good.
One of the best situations that I had, and they were so caring and didn't expect me to be so giving.
Yeah.
Which I think anybody who lives with somebody, especially when you're helping them out for that, should be as giving as they can be, just out of respect.
I think when
And that's
people
what I was raised on.
The opposite side too, when they understand your situation, and like
They
you
don't
said,
expect
when
it.
you come in on respectful shit, you know what I mean, respect their space, everything. There's nothing else, nothing much else you could do. You feel me?
Right.
But me, I just know how I'm just pessimistic towards human beings as a whole. So it's like, even if I don't hear something, I'm like, you probably said someone. And that's why I always say, like, you should probably tell a different story. But it is good when you have those sort of like experiences, especially with that, because all the horror stories, even you've mentioned multiple horror stories about just having roomies and shit.
Oh my God, I've had horrible roommates.
I've been blessed, man. Like, all the roommates I've had were like, all those situations were pretty dope. I'm not gonna hold you.
That's good.
They were smooth, and I was almost. That's why I feel like nobody can fuck with the shit that I bring to the table, no matter what I do, because it's like I was almost homeless twice. Like, I was just grinding at that time. That's why like I had so many. I probably had like 3-4 roommates within like 2 years, bro. Because I was just bouncing around trying to find some place, like just trying to fucking survive. And I'm here.
Right.
So it's like,
Bro,
Now
nigga,
you
you can't
good.
tell
Own
me
a house and
shit.
shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't tell me shit. And now we learning about real estate and shit. You can't tell me shit, bro.
Nah, that's a real hustler.
Fuck is you talking
Yeah,
about?
some real hustlers.
Fuck is you talking about, man?
Yeah, damn, bro, you just
It's the importance of the grind.
That's
Because
it, man. That's it.
grind hard, shine hard, but sometimes you look shitty.
But listen,
Yeah.
I feel like you've seen
high
it too,
reward.
being in your position. You probably see
for
people who
sure.
are like in your field and shit, right? Where it's like they may have went to school, 4 or 5 years, got the degree and shit. It's like, yo, but you don't put in the work that I put in. You be lazy, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. A lot of people
feel
were
me?
like, how did I get into what I was doing? And I was like, dabbling.
Work.
I went
was
through
out there.
a lot of shit. Like, I've worked for a lot of different things. I've done, dabbled in different types of avenues in what we studied. So out of, everything in radio, television, I was like, I technically had a podcast in college, but it wasn't. It was a radio show. And I did all that shit off the strength of myself and people that worked there. I got into a sports talk show. So I did camera work and I did behind the scenes in front of the camera. I
You
took
doing like
little
nightly
gigs.
news and shit?
Well, it's sports news, so more like ESPN round table talk, like that. So I worked
remember that
behind
shit.
that. Yeah. So I did a lot of that stuff throughout, and then out of nowhere, after everything, I got introduced into podcasting casually, and then I
It's a
just ran.
podcast.
And then you guys, I spoke with Shaq for a while about it, 'cause
Shaq
I was
Daddy.
like, I'm thinking about, I want to feature on someone's podcast and see what it's really about, and then maybe take it over, because I've dabbled into a lot of things and it seems like something fun. I like watching people's clips. So when he invited me on, and then you guys invited me to stay a permanent guest, that literally
Yeah, how the fuck
sparked.
did that happen?
I don't know. But that sparked my whole passion for, wanting to get into the podcasting, and fast forward to now, I'm where I'm at. Like, nobody told me to like this shit. Nobody told me what to do and how to get here. That's why it took so long for me to get exactly what I'm doing and where I'm at. I'm still not even close to where I'm gonna be. But you work and you work and you work and you work, and then you start seeing results, because the shit doesn't happen overnight. And
Facts.
it doesn't always happen over 1 year. So it's important for people to realize that. Like, I get a lot of messages, and for those of you who do wonder, I get a lot of messages of how I started and what platform I use and what I'm doing. And real shit, the game ain't free. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do not respond to DMs because it's like, realistically, you asking me for free shit. Like,
sold,
you're
not
asking
told.
me. I mean, I don't think it should always be sold, not told, because, you know, help people out when you can. But I don't think you should tell all the secrets to everything.
I feel
so
like you
don't
have to have
expect
a
somebody
relationship.
you have to have a relationship to come up and ask people. But a lot of people that ask me are just people that see me doing it or people that I want to get into. And sometimes when you overshare your secrets, people take over your flow. And I don't like that because it's already happened to me. I will tell you guys exactly what it is off air.
Listen, I've gotten breath for consulting podcasts before. That's all you got to say. Like, yeah, I'll consult you on it. You just got to give me a fee.
Right. So, and it's like, if you want information, obviously you feel like I'm somebody for that. But what I will tell you guys is there's a lot of programs and apps that will help you record, and Google, that will help you record episodes, things like that, before you actually get into equipment. And I suggest that you do that before you spend your money on equipment, because if you do not like it and you cannot come up with original, consistent ideas, or at least your own way to present certain type of topics weekly, that's really key, is trying to do weekly or at least bi-weekly. You need to drop 2 to 3 pods a month, the minimum, in order for you to really be like getting into podcasting. So if that's not something that you're passionate about or willing to do, don't waste your time buying stuff until you actually test it out. So definitely Google and search up different apps, work on marketing, create social media, see if you get a social media flow. Start off with topics like questionnaires on Instagram. I'm really big on posting questions throughout the week, and that kind of picks if I venture into actually making it a podcast topic or not, is how much energy you get back. So definitely strategize before just executing a plan.
And to go back to what you were saying before, and I'll say this and I'll wrap up. I feel like I'll be more open, and I feel like a lot of people will be more open to, you know, giving you a helping hand, even if they don't know you like that. If you come in with a plan, like just showing that you've done the research before.
Right. Not like, hey, how did you start from the ground up? Like, that's a whole fucking conversation.
That's an experience. You can't teach the experience.
It's a whole thing, bro. And I've had multiple, like I said before, I've had multiple people ask me since we started this journey. Because you think about it, even right now, like you've been doing yours you've been a part of this one for like 3 years.
Right.
We've been doing this shit 2 years. It's been like 4 years since this whole shit's been going. But even right now, people are still just getting into podcasting and shit. Right. You know what I mean? And people are starting to get more interested in it. But at the end of the day, I've had people from all walks of life be like, all right, somebody come in with a full plan. Like, all right, what do you think I should go with? Like, what out of these things, what should I do? And I respect that, and I'll give them that. Other people that I may not know, like I said before, if it's a lot of shit, I'm like, listen, I'll consult on your podcast. Just give me a little something, you know, whatever it is, and I'll help you out, all that, try to help you find everything, you feel me? And on the other side, you see people that are just like, yo, how you do this? It's like,
those are the people I can't really
I fucking did it.
I mean, I just say, hey, look into audio stuff, and then you record. Think of a topic, and then you're good. Those are the people you give the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I wasn't told this, and it's not that I'm saying, oh, just because I didn't get it this way, I don't want to give it out. It's that you really do have to work for this stuff. It's not easy. You can't be giving it, because when you're giving it, it's not gonna give you the worth that it should if you're not working for it, because you're not gonna appreciate it as much, one, and two, you're really not built for it if you don't know that's what you got to do.
You got to go through the grind, man.
It's the experiences. The experiences speak for itself.
It's the skill level you pick up from going through the grind too, though.
But and also, it's like, what am I, a fucking show pony? Yo, how you do this? Like,
so I can do what you're doing, and I think people who think like, oh, it's just can be told and it is what it is, they don't respect your craft.
Well, shit, they can do it, they're gonna fail.
They just ask you.
They can do it, they're gonna fail.
You know how many
Not to be
times,
an asshole, but
I actually used to be a really big Terrence J fan, and then when he got onto E, I was like, oh shit. You know, before acting, I'm not a fan of him because of acting. It was when he was literally like reporting and stuff. So he did E, he did red carpet, stuff like that, and I was like, damn, I want to be just like him. I want to get on that. This is the type of report. I want to do media reporting. I want to do entertainment reporting.
He was kind of
I don't
want to
do
at that time.
Just music, and I don't want to do sports. I don't want to do news. So my route is entertainment. And we know where entertainment is. music awards, things like that. Yes, it's still music, but it's not necessarily
catered to
just music.
the
I don't
music
need to know the first fucking album you put out to do that. I need to introduce something. I need to be familiar with the crowd, the culture, and entertain people. And I think I'm a good talker. So I think for that's what that type of career path would need. And I think that's why podcasting was good for me, because I get very camera shy. So I think right now I like it audio. And I like it. Like right now I like the feeling it gives me. And if I want to be on camera, I could choose to be, but my episodes are being put out regardless.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting, the content. People are still paying attention. So anyways, yes, I looked up to him. He's definitely somebody that I watched his career path. I wanted to email him and be like, how did you do what you do? But then I was like, you know what? He probably went through a lot of shit. I literally Wikipedia this man, looked into all the shit that he was doing, studied I guess what he ventured into before. And he actually was into radio and stuff like that before he got actually into reporting, interviewing, and all that good stuff. And it took him a while, of course, to get his shot. But that was somebody that I looked into, but I studied him from Google.
Well, once again, you did your homework.
I did my research.
But
I tried to figure out how to get into it.
Even if you don't hit them up for like an opportunity, one thing I'm big on is like just giving credit where it's due. So for instance, I've been in situations where like I don't know somebody's email or whatever, and I won't ask for like an opportunity, but what I will say is, listen, like, I admire what you're doing. Just know that like I see you, like whatever you're working on, and it's inspiring me to do what I do, and hopefully one day, once our
we can collab.
Paths cross, we could do that, right? So you may get an email back, you may not, but at the end of the day, you're sending that energy out there. And if they do hit you back, it's just like, yo, bro, if you do meet in person, you have something like, yo, I don't know if you remember, but like we were emailing back and forth. Like I really met that shit. That shit happened to me just once before. That's how the Ryan Leslie shit happened like a long time ago. I'm not going to get into it, but it was just off like a cold email. And then from there, like I went into doing marketing for him and doing all this whole shit for like a year and change. But it opened up a whole different lane that wasn't available to me before until I knocked the door down myself, just by being truthful, you feel me? Just being myself, not asking for a handout or whatever.
Right.
Just being real, like, yo, like I fuck with you feel me?
I want to be like you. And that's the biggest compliment somebody can give you is I want to be like you, or I see you.
Yeah.
That's the biggest compliment to me. Like for my 1 year, which was Tuesday, for Sorry If I Offend You, that was a big moment for me. I thought it was amazing and it flew by. And I didn't realize how much I've done with my podcast within the year. Also, balancing this and my other shit that I'm doing. I didn't realize how in a pandemic, but I didn't realize how much I accomplished and how much people actually fucked with what I was doing, whether that's from the merchandise or from actually listening. But the support was shown from when people being like, "I'm so proud of you for after this year, you've done this, that," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I have. Oh shit, this is what it is." And sometimes, obviously. Everybody, especially if you're doing something weekly and something that is your baby, that's your business, it is important to stay consistent, but sometimes life happens. When you're on a time frame, when things are supposed to go a certain way, it doesn't always work out how you plan, and sometimes you do have to put cancellations. Facts. We're not always every week able to do Deadass, though we try, and that's the important part, is that we try, we make an attempt. We have our schedule. If it doesn't work out, don't force it to make a bad episode, but
shit, there'll be times we record and it gets fucked up, so it's like, damn.
Yeah, like there's plenty of times that we recorded and it just gets fucked up, so we got to be like, okay, we don't have another time to meet this week,
just eat that.
So we have to eat it and just come in strong the next week, or maybe double record the next week that we can. So we try to make up for the pick up where our slack's at. So things like that happen, but it's important to jump back on where you're at. And stay consistent as much as you can. But life does happen, and it is hard to stay true to what you want to do. It is not stay true, but I guess stay solid to everything that you're doing. And a lot of the times when you start a step back or you start getting lazy, you stay in that bubble. Try to stay out that bubble, because remember I was doing the gym 5 days a week every morning? I went down to 4 days a week the last 2 weeks because I was traveling so much. Then this week I've only worked out once. So I need, like today I wore a gym outfit just so I knew I needed to push myself to go to gym at least once. But I went on my vacation and it knocked me off my morning routine. So I came back, and that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I came back and now my morning routine's fucked up, and it's so hard right now for me to get back into it because I've been having so much shit to do at night that I'm not going to sleep when I need to wake up early.
Your whole situation.
Threw me off, but the important part is that I'm trying to get back to it. So what I'm saying is never give up to what you wanted your life to be like.
That's it, man.
I like that.
I'm cool
You
with ending it
know,
on that.
my corner. And I'm always here, y'all. DM me.
DM me for
No free game.
I was
For
about
no
to say
free game,
for
but
consultancy.
for consultancy.
Free
yeah.
smoke, no free game.
DM me if you're genuinely interested. And also I'm open to collaborating on my podcast as well. So, hit me up.
Hit the DMs, y'all. We're gonna holler at y'all next week. Y'all already know. We're gonna see you, man.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna see you.